Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Our Take, a podcast you can trust. I'm your host, LukeMan97, and today we're going to be discussing biomes of the Earth. So, biome, what is it? It's basically a section of the Earth. Well, let's see what National Geographic says. National Geographic says that a biome is an area of the planet that can be classified according to the plants and animals that live in it, or the temperature, soil, amount of light, and water. And those factors help determine what life exists in a biome. So that's what National Geographic says about it. Wikipedia says that a biome is a biographical unit consisting of a biological community that is formed in response to the physical environment, which they found in a shared regional climate. So biome is basically determined by what lives there as far as plants and animals and the climate and temperature and all that stuff. So, what are the different kinds of biomes in the world? So first of all, there's the desert, obviously, which you guys know what that is. It's just like a dry place that doesn't get much rain, and this is where a lot of people, there's a misconception where a lot of people think that there's not much animals in the desert. There actually is quite a few species, but there's just not much numbers. There's not many animals of the species, because everyone needs resources to live, and if there's not enough resources for a lot of things to live, there probably won't be a lot. So stuff like lizards, snakes, wolves, sometimes there's mountain lions, and as far as plants, there's cactuses and grasses sometimes and stuff like that. So that's what a desert is. Then there's the temperate grassland, which basically they're also known as prairies, like in the western United States. But they mostly just have grass, like it says, and stuff like antelope, grasshoppers, meadowlarks live there. They get some rain, but it's not really, really wet, but enough rain to keep it going. And the reason why there's not much trees there is because, well, obviously in the beginning they were cut down and cleared for farmland, but now it says here that the animals actually eat the shoots of the trees, and I don't know, it's just not a very hospitable environment for trees, so that's kind of why there's not many trees there. So the grassland's a great place to graze animals and for animals to graze. That's why the shoots of the trees get eaten, because the animals graze on them. And then the next biome we're going to talk about is the savanna, which is mostly found in Africa, of course, and South America, sometimes in Australia, but mostly Africa. Which basically, sometimes the floor is desert, sometimes there's grass on the floor, but there's trees scattered around, not like a forest, but like flat-top trees that are resistant to drought, and there's some grass around. This places are desert, but stuff lives there, like lions and gazelles, antelope, birds, like secretary birds, if we're talking about Africa, and of course snakes and all that good stuff. But that's the savanna. Then there's the Mediterranean shrublands, which this is like areas by the sea. It's kind of mountainous sometimes. Some woody type of shrubs are there. Not many trees, but woody types of shrubs, maybe some grass. Mostly just smaller animals like rabbits or quail live there. And not too much. It's kind of a barren area. These exist in California and obviously Mediterranean too, but not much rain per year. That's why there's not a lot of stuff living there. Then there's the tropical dry forest, which these places exist in, I think, India at least, and some other places, but they get more precipitation than a desert or a Mediterranean shrublands, but they're not super wet like a rainforest or something like that. And stuff that lives there includes smaller animals, and also rhinos live in India in tropical dry forests, it says here. So it says the rainfall is highly seasonal, so I guess there's monsoon seasons and things like that. So that's a thing. And then there's obviously the tropical rainforest, which is what I was talking about. This place gets a lot of rain, and it's very humid because all the water evaporates and makes it very humid. And so they're mostly located the central and near the equator. Central and South America is what we think about mostly, like the Amazon rainforest. Stuff lives here like bugs, butterflies, monkeys, sometimes big cats like cougars or pumas, basically the same thing. But yeah, so there's like 3 levels of vegetation in a tropical rainforest. There's the tall trees that live at the top and get most of the sunlight. Then there's the shorter trees that live in the middle and don't get as much. And then there's the plants on the forest floor that don't get much sunlight at all. So things have to be adapted to not getting much sunlight sometimes, as if they're, down lower, they don't get much. But yeah, it's very warm, lots of rain, and it's very impacted by humans, like especially the Amazon rainforest. We always hear about it being logged or whatever, which is what we need to think about when it comes to this, that we make sure and preserve these, like replant the trees and stuff, so the stuff can regrow and we still have rainforest. Then there's the temperate deciduous forest, which this is probably the biome I know the most about because it's actually the one I live in. Most of the United States is temperate deciduous forest, especially like the northeastern states, but it's basically a seasonal forest. Where in the summer it's like green, in the fall it's colored, then in the winter obviously it's bare. But different things live here, like raccoons and types of birds and deer. But a lot of times the animals here are seasonal, like some birds will come and only stay for the summer and then migrate south, like a robin in the fall, and then they come back in the spring. But some stuff like squirrels and certain types of birds stay around all year, and I think raccoons just hibernate. Some animals just hibernate. So that's the temperate deciduous forest. Now, a temperate rainforest, these exist in the western states on the coast, as well as New Zealand, Australia, and they are cooler. They get a lot of rainfall, but they're cooler, and so the temperature doesn't evaporate really, and so it's much more wet there. And the one in Washington State is called the HOH, or Ho Rainforest, I think it is, and it's located on the Olympic Peninsula in western Washington State. You might know it more by Olympic rainforest, it's sometimes called too, but it's a temperate rainforest that it just has like a lot of mossy trees and stuff like that, and it's very wet too. So, and then there's another biome is the taiga, and mostly in the temperate rainforests there's like owls and black-tailed deer and different stuff like that. In the taiga, which is a northern coniferous forest, basically mostly conifer trees live here, like pine trees, because in the wintertime it gets really cold and snowy, and so only pine trees really can survive. So it's mostly pine trees that live in the taiga. It's cold most of the time in the winter, and stuff like lynx and snowshoe hare live here, probably snowy owls too, and it is have a colder climate. Then the last biome we're going to discuss is the tundra, which is basically, it's like a flat wasteland, which is even farther north of the taiga. But basically it has like a permanently frozen ground called permafrost. In the summertime, only small plants and dwarf trees grow. No big trees can live here because of the climate. And it's very barren, has a short, cool summer, not a very long summer, and only stuff like musk oxen, snowy owls, and probably stuff like polar bears and stuff live there too, but mostly, this is mostly found in, like northern Russia, obviously, the Arctic. Antarctica I don't think has tundra as much, but mostly the Arctic. Anyways, guys, sorry if this was rushed a little bit. I do have a 10-minute limit on my videos for my editing software that I use. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys learned something about biomes. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and hopefully Diesel will be joining us soon again. And look forward to the next episode of the podcast. I don't know when it'll be, but it'll definitely be soon. Thank you guys for watching.